Michael, how much do we know about Thomas Matthew Crooks at this stage and his background?
Not much, and that's the important thing, and we heard from Joe Biden on this front as well. He's saying it's far too early to ascribe a motive to the shooter. We do know he left school only 2 years ago. He was only 20 years old. There have been reports today across multiple US media outlets from his former classmates saying he was a loner at school, he was heavily bullied at school, he'd often turn up dressed up in hunting gear and was mocked because of that. We do know that he was a registered Republican. There are reports that he donated an albeit very small amount of money to a progressive political group a couple of years ago. But beyond that, not much at all. And that is the subject of furious investigations as we go to air.
Michael, what about Trump's reaction to this? I mean, after he was shot in the ear, there was that moment he had ducked quickly, but then very quickly got up and said to the Secret Service detail, wait. That will become a powerful image as he turned around to quickly just mouth something to the crowd.
It will be the most enduring image, it's fair to say right now, of this presidential campaign and bridge pretty much one of the most enduring political images for decades. We are already seeing members of former President Trump's team weaponising this for political purposes, including his two sons, posting that picture and referring to their father as a fighter. And it will be used, and already we're hearing from Republican strategists, used potentially by Donald Trump, especially as early as this week when he attends the National Convention in Wisconsin to portray himself as strong, and as the Republicans are arguing, President Biden as weak and feeble. So the power of those images will persist for as long as this campaign continues and for many years and decades to come.
And Michael, just on the landscape of what the rest of the campaign is going to look like, clearly more security, but will we see any further open air campaign stops?
Unlikely, I'd say, at least in the short term. I mean, as you know, Lisa, open-air rallies are very much a key part of any presidential campaign. But again, it just goes back to what one security analyst was saying, describing as the seismic failure of the Secret Service when it comes to this open-air campaign and this shooter getting so close to the the former president of the United States. So perhaps not in the short term. I can tell you that this temporary suspension of political campaigning, this completely understandable suspension of politics, will continue for at least another day or two. President Biden has cancelled a planned political campaign trip to Texas. Vice President Kamala Harris equally cancelling a scheduled trip to talk about abortion and the Democrats' defence of abortion rights. She was planning to do that in Florida. That's been cancelled. And we've also learning from that, albeit very brief, appearance by Joe Biden in the White House behind me a short time ago. He will be back there addressing the nation at 8 p.m. local time, which is 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So we could expect to hear more about the president's thoughts about where this is all going from that keynote speech.